Welcome to another exciting episode of American Warrior Radio, coming to you since 2009. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, or National Guard or Reserves, you've come to the right place, American Warrior Radio. We're always efforting to bring you news, notes, interviews, and current events for all things military and veteran related. The bumper music for American Warrior Radio is provided by none other than combat veteran and mill hop artist Stephen Hobbs. Thank you, Stephen. With that said, let's kick the tires and light the fires and get this episode off the ground. Hi, everybody. I am so happy that you joined us today on American Warrior Radio because we have another wonderful guest, a fairly famous man that you're going to find out. Oh, it's true. Kris, Tanto, Paronto. Welcome, Kris.
Hi, guys. How are you? And as you can tell, it's festive season here at my house. So,
beautiful.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody.
For sure. Thanks for sharing that, brother. And thanks for your service to our country, too.
You too.
Multi ways. I want you to give a little bio so the viewers get a little more acquainted.
Sure.
So when you went into service, what you did, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and to make it down and dirty, I enlisted in 1995, actually after graduating college. I was recommended, hey, do a direct commission. You got the bachelor's degree. And to me, it just seemed like, how could I learn how to lead if I didn't know how to follow? So my thing was, hey, let's just go enlist. And that's what I did. And I got a Ranger contract, a RIP contract, it was called back then. Now it's called an Option 40 for the RAS program, 75th Ranger program. And I went in and things were great, actually. I went to the House of Pain 258 there at Fort Benning, Georgia. And it was awesome. I loved it. They were still in 1995. They were still putting their hands on us. And I'll be quite honest, I think that's still necessary. I really do. And they didn't do it unless it was warranted. And believe me, it was generally warranted if they did. But it does help build that character, that intestinal fortitude. And believe me, if you can't handle a little roughhousing by drill sergeants and even your own buddies, you're not
going to handle combat.
Exactly. And people say, well, that's cliche. No, I honestly believe that's the truth because I've been through both. So yeah, it's necessary. But went through airborne school, RIP, went to 2nd Ranger Battalion, had some issues, and I wrote about it in my book, The Ranger Way. So if anybody wants to know about that, but issues with
Kris
it.
Kris is a prolific writer. You got a couple books that I'm familiar with, the Ranger Way and then the 13th Hour.
Yeah, and then I wrote the Patriot's Creed after the Ranger Way, and it has some of my stories in there that I still didn't get in the Ranger Way, but really it was to honor those guys that did things I thought a lot more than I did, and let's put their stories. So it's really a book about other veterans and their trials and tribulations that went through. But that was the Patriot's Creed that was written I wrote that in 2017. It was released in 2018. But I did that, and I had first marriage. Went sideways. Hey, shocker, huh? Which veteran, which kind of military doesn't have a story like that? And didn't handle it well. And I was actually discharged from the military. A lot of people don't know that unless they've read The Ranger Way, have heard me speak, because I do some public speaking from time to time, that I was actually discharged from the military into 1996, beginning in 1997. And they're like, what happened? Because that should be the end of the story right there. Done. I was very lucky. I got an honorable discharge. I didn't deserve it, but for those that know and for those that don't, you can research it. We got the Google now. You can Google anything. Yeah. I had a reentry code of 3, and that's not good. For those that know DD-214s,
they don't want them.
No, they're like, okay. So it was. They looked at the honorable discharge and they looked at the RE code, and they're like, oh, okay, what'd you do? Because I did want to go back in eventually. And that's what but got out, and that drive of continuing to improve, even though I had a setback, was still in me. So I went and got my master's degree. To me, that was like, well, how can I continue to improve? Room clearing, we call it finding work. How can I continue to clear a room, clear a sector, dominate, continue to move forward?
Move to the next.
And it was, I'm not going to do a 9 to 5. It's not me. It's not in me. Not that it's a bad thing. I just know I didn't. That wasn't what I wanted to do. And my dad had his PhD. My mom was a teacher. So I was like, well, education, let's continue to better myself that way. And I did. I went and got my master's degree. And I got lucky after the eighth try of me trying to re-enlist. So, hey, guys, persevere. If you're having it's fantastic. Persevere.
That's
Persevere.
the word, brother. Persevere. Whether you're dealing with an issue with the VA or you're still on active duty and you're looking for that promotion, persevere.
Persevere. You're going to get shot down. So what? Keep trying. Keep trying. And the A try, I managed. I got lucky. Their command sergeant major, this is when I was living in Nebraska. The command sergeant major for the recruiting command of Nebraska was in the recruiting facility that I walked into. Just found it, H1. And I was very lucky. He had his tab, Ranger tab, and he looked at my records like, do you really want to go in? And I said, yeah, I do, Sergeant Major. And he says, yeah, well, here's your paperwork. And I signed and I re-enlisted back in. And when I handed him the paperwork, it's kind of a funny story. Within itself, as soon as he grabbed it, he goes, oh, there's one thing. You got to redo everything. So, okay. So I did everything all over again. I did basic, airborne, and Ranger all over again. Okay. The second time I went through first.
Yeah,
it was. The second time I went through first and 50th. So first and 50th, where I went through OSA training the second time through. And I can honestly say, even after it was about 3 years of me being out, you could tell that it had changed. It had changed to easy. It was easier. Now, granted, half of it, this is your mind games, and you mind F yourself. And I won't cuss in here but and when you go in that first time or anything you try the first off, you're always mind effing yourself. And I didn't do that the second time because I knew what to expect. So I think, that's probably why it was a little easier. It's like, okay, they're going to yell at me. Yeah, I got it. I'm physically fit. I know what I need. I know what I need to do. But I'll be quite honest. I didn't see the screaming and yelling. I didn't see the brim right in the face. I didn't see even the drill sergeants right in the chest or button head, hitting it. Yeah. They couldn't hit, but they could headbutt us with the brim. I didn't see that. Yeah. It was like in 95. And I did see it even in that time getting to that kinder, gentler, softer Army. And I do believe that it's still going that way, sadly, but it is. And it's just doing the service members a disservice because you're not preparing them fully, not just for combat, just for life and perseverance and intestinal fortitude. Yeah. Mental toughness. But anyway, got through it, went back to 2nd Ranger Battalion and things took off. I actually 2 years, got my tab, went back to battalion as a team leader, and they found out my platoon leader, great guy, Jason Johnston was his name, found out I had my master's degree. I hid it for as long as I could because I knew as soon as an officer found out I had my master's degree, guess where they're tagging me to go? To officer squad. You got your master's. Why are you a tab D4? Why are you a sergeant? You need to go. And but I did. I went off and I did green to gold actually just for a year. ROTC. It seemed to me that was the quickest route instead of waiting for OCS. And well, let's just go knock it out. And at that time, and I got it. And then I was diagnosed.
Congratulations on that.
Come on, you know that
it's an accomplishment, brother. Your life has shown that you are an accomplisher. You're an overcomer.
Yeah, but I should have stayed as a non-com. Come on, should have stayed. I should have worked for a living. No, I love being a commissioned officer as well. And I met some tremendous commissioned officers. Worked with many that are legends now. And I had a lot. My first commander was Stanley McChrystal. That was my first lieutenant colonel at my battalion. And so but I've respect a ton. But also I respected a ton of my non-coms as well. They're Ranger legends and legends in the industry, in the infantry industry or Ranger industry, let's call it. But I was in 2003. I had an issue with my medical. I was out of nowhere, and I had it for years. I just didn't realize it because you work hard, you play hard. Your stomach hurts, your bone hurts. You drink at night, you eat too much pizza. You'll be fine. And I was out in Fort Benning, Georgia, and I literally sharded myself. I crapped my pants. I'm like, well, but every one of us has done that out in the hot Malone Ranges or cold ranges out there at Fort Benning, Georgia, after hanging down at the cannon there in Columbus, Georgia, eating too much pizza and drinking too much beer and whiskey. But the problem was it was blood. I basically crapped blood, and I was rushed to Martin Army Hospital, and they found out that I had Crohn's disease, and it was in a pretty
qualifying condition, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is. Well, that's where I went. That's why it was. It was kind of a kick in the nuts. It was like, wow, everything's finally on track, and then out of nowhere, bam. And like,
So therein ended your military, your active
it
military
did. It
service.
did. I did try to fight it, but you're exactly right. It was like, no.
It's
I mean, there was nothing to fight. It was just,
right.
and not that anybody treated me poorly. They didn't. The medicals, I mean, they really saw that it crushed me. It wasn't what I expected. It was out of the blue. And yeah, I was discharged. I was rated at that time with that 70% or 75% with just the colitis. So so I got taken care of. Granted, it's over the time it's gone up, and we can talk about that on the next episode about the
Good.
ratings and things. But
Sure.
but
It's
yeah.
beneficial for the viewer out there
Oh
that may
yeah.
be experiencing something similar.
And it is
Men have gone before you, and here's how they handled it. Yep. Okay, so
and that
talk
was
about your next part of your life, which is super exciting. Well, it's kind of
well,
celebrity-like now.
well, that's what the Lord works in mysterious ways. It really is, and I am a man of faith. I'm a terrible Christian, but I am. I love God, and I do my best to follow the commandments and follow the teachings of the Bible. But I really at that time I believed in God, but I wasn't a huge. Yeah, it's not as strong as I am now. But I got a call from a company called Blackwater Security not a year after me getting discharged from the military in 2003 and 2004. And they're like, hey, do you want to go be a contractor? I didn't know what the hell that was. I was like, what the hell is a contractor? I know, it was early days. It was right in the beginning when contracting was starting to take off. And a ranger buddy of mine had gotten on to Blackwater. And at that time, you couldn't apply. It was just word of mouth. It was like, yeah, we work, this guy, this guy, this guy. And I got a call and I said, yeah, one of your guys from Second Ranger, he recommended you. Do you want to go to Iraq and work? And I thought they meant the building the houses. That's what I thought. I was a contractor. And that's what I asked. I was like, what is that?
For a rifle. Yeah.
I was like, what is that? But they're like, no. We want you to go protect Ambassador Bremer and State Department diplomats, and you're going to be doing it with other special operations. And that was a trip. Yeah, because you did it. I did it. I went down to Moyock, North Carolina for those 3-week train up. It was not a train up. It was alpha males yelling and fighting at each other. It was the most hilarious train up I'd ever been through. You had all these SEALs that had just gone over.
But that was important. That was important to instill that in you guys that were going to go and do these contracts.
But it was your. I think it really was the first time. Not that Joint Special Operations Command, you don't have other, special ops units working together. Of course you do. After the Iran rescue operation that went terribly awry, we had to get the units had to start communicating with each other, but never had you actually put them on the same teams. And there was fisticuffs, there was fights. I remember one day just sitting on a set of bleachers in Moyock watching these SEALs and these long tabbers, and then you have some Rangers, and then you got some recon guys, and they were just going at it. And we're supposed to be training. Nobody's training. But anyway, it got through. It was fun. It was, and it did bring the camaraderie together. We got over. And, this was the early days. I got over there when Helveston and, that was those days when Scott Helveston and Zavko and those guys got hung off the bridge in Fallujah. That was when we went over, and it was the Wild West. It was crazy. It was nutty. It was here's a gun. All right, go do your thing. It's like, well, do we have any intel? Do we have any? Nope, you got nothing. All right, let's go. Cross our fingers. I hope we get through the day. And
Tanto,
but it was fun.
These segments, we need to have you back because they fly by. Let's just kind of bait the audience here a little bit.
Yeah.
Fast forward to what I'm going to talk about, Benghazi.
Yeah. Fast forward 10. So I did that for 10 years, and then it was almost 11 years, and then 9/11 2012 happened. And again, Lord works in mysterious ways. I think that was supposed to happen at that time in my career and the rest of the team's career, because we were all older guys at that time. All of us had been doing it for 10, 11 years. All of us had served between 5 to 10 years prior. So we needed a good salty team there. And when Benghazi happened, it was us. And just to succinctly, we were left behind, and we were left to our own accord to get out of there. But because of the experiences, because of the confidence, because of us knowing, not that we got along, because we didn't. I think that's a misnomer. People think we all were best buddies. We were not at all. Some of us were, but some of us didn't like each other. But we were at that age where we'd been through enough that it was like, hey, put the bullshit differences aside. Let's get the job done. And we were able to do that. And we were able, and with luck and with faith as well, and with some good training and good experiences and a good operational skill, we were able to get out of there and then come home. And then I got in a world that I really wasn't, and I'm still not ready for. And I don't like that political public figure world that I really despise. And that was a battle in itself. It really was, because that's not something that I wanted to do.
You've been masterful at navigating it and helping
Trying.
others understand what all this entails, because very few people have ever been in the situation that you found yourself in and come out
Yes,
on
sir.
the other side.
Yes,
So,
sir.
that's testament to you for sure, brother. Listen,
Thank you.
I'm going to leave it there. You mentioned your books. Where can they find them?
Sure. I just go to my website, KrisTantoParonto.com. I don't have a ton of merchandise, but we always have the books out there, and you can grab them there. And then I have like I said, the Battle Line Tactical, got the little shameless promotion here.
Yeah.
Battle Line Tactical training. And actually I have a course, my last course of the year is this weekend. I usually run them in Kansas, and they're open to everybody. And those are fun. And it's a great time. And if you want to know if Tanto's like the guy in the movie, yeah, come to the course. You're going to say, yeah, that's the guy. And we have a lot of fun doing that. And then we have the vodka, me and Ben Morgan, First Ranger Bat. He's a buddy of mine that served First Ranger. We have Tanto vodka, and we're redoing the labels right now, changing distilleries. So just hold on, guys. Give us about 2 more weeks. We'll have the bottle re-released and out there to different markets. And again, you can look at all that. Just KrisTantoParonto.com. You can look at all that stuff.
And that'll be on the screen for all you viewers out there where you're ready to land. We've been talking to Kris Tanto Paronto. We're going to have him back because, as you can see, he's got a lot to share. And I think most of you are going to find it very interesting. I know I do. So,
I'm just old, brother. That's all
we're all getting old. We get in our 60s and times change.
Say that.
But until next time, my brother, thank you sincerely for your service, both during the military and afterwards, and how you represent the country, and you continuing to be out there. You're putting yourself forward, and I know others are going to follow on and be supported and find the value in getting to know you and your program. So thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hi everyone, it's Garen Cohn with American Warrior Radio. I'm here with my good friend Christian. We're here to deliver a very important message about a crisis in our land.
Suicide prevention, more specifically, veteran suicide prevention.
22 a day are taking their own lives. This must stop. This can't continue. If you or someone you know is contemplating suicide, please know that God has tomorrow planned for you. Don't take your own life. And just remember, suicide is a permanent solution
to a temporary problem.